What if the future of the NBA isn't just a story of talent rising, it's a tangled saga of timing, fate, and whispers behind closed doors? What if a single decision made in the quiet of a front office could reverberate through arenas, shifting dynasties and shattering hopes? Welcome back to Lakers News Fan Report, where raw truth meets purple and gold passion. Smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss a second of this drama. Because tonight, we're peeling back the layers of one of the most compelling drafts and off-seasons basketball has ever witnessed. A moment that feels like a crossroads for the entire league, even if the shining spotlight isn't directly on the Lakers. Imagine the energy inside the Barclays Center in Brooklyn just hours ago. The 2025 NBA Draft's first round sealed, emotions running as high as the stakes, and round to breathlessly waiting in the wings. They called it. Of course, Cooper Flagg going first overall to the Dallas Mavericks, the youngest number one pick since none other than LeBron himself, an ominous echo of history that can't be ignored. But beyond that headline lurks stories soaked in struggle, sweat, and legacy. B.J. Edge, going third from the Bahamas, his voice cracking as he spoke of darkness lived through 7 years powered by a generator, no electricity, just sheer willpower propelling him forward. That wasn't just basketball, it was survival. Yet even as those tears dried, the draft unfolded into a cascade of narratives nothing short of cinematic. From Ace Bailey's fifth pick to Utah, a surprise for many, but a bold stroke for a Jazz franchise desperate to break free from mediocrity, to Ian Hansen, quietly sitting as fans, suddenly vaulted into first-round glory as the third Chinese-born player to hear his name called. And how could we forget Cayman Malawash, selected 10th and headed to Phoenix only after tears slipped down his face, carrying the burden of a continent on his shoulders, South Sudan's third beacon. In these modern draft days, a living testament to the power of representation and raw hope. If the draft night needed a symbol of raw emotion, Danny Wolf hugging his brother Jake before stepping on stage laid it bare. This was more than just a selection, it was an outpouring of dreams realized and sacrifices etched deep. Yet even in that emotional landscape, the reality check came from voices like Brian Windhorst and Kendrick Perkins. The take on Cooper Flagg's immediate impact is almost too good to be true, yet grounded by lessons of history. Look, rookies no matter how electric, they rarely rewrite winning overnight. LeBron took until year 3 to taste playoff success, during 2, but Cooper Flagg, his modern skill set, versatility to roam anywhere from 1 through 5, and defensive prowess alongside veterans like Anthony Davis and the long, agile wings Dallas gathered, make him more than a hopeful star. He could redefine the Western Conference's power map. Odds makers even issued a stunning snub with those 22-1 odds for Dallas winning the West, full to the team in a downright underestimation of the seismic impact Cooper can have from the jump. His game reminds some of a young Tim Duncan, the steady, unflappable force whose presence simply shifted San Antonio. The Mavericks' front line, bolstered by Cooper's arrival, looks like a fortress, hard to penetrate, primed to surprise skeptics and rivals alike. But what's unfolding underneath that stat sheet? The pressure, the whispers, Kyrie Irving's injuries, Anthony Davis pushing through pain, Nico Harrison's re-injury, all creating a domino effect that ironically landed the Mavericks in this prime spot to grab Cooper at 1.8% odds. Cosmic karma, unlucky luck. Some say yes, others refuse to credit their fortune to bold trades alone, especially the Luka Doncic deal. Yes, Dallas fans might be torn between excitement and anxiety, chanting "Fire Nico," yet aware their team stands on the brink of something special. Even if whose team is this remains an open question. Is it Kyrie's reign slowly winding down, AD's last stand, or the birth of the Cooper Flagg era? The truth is, the Mavericks are now a legit title contender, stacked on paper with a blend of championship experience, Klay Thompson's sharpshooting still lethal to opponents, and youthful firepower that could challenge the Rockets and Thunder, the West's rising giants. And listening to Kendrick Perkins, fresh from rehab humility, you realize every inch counts. If Kyrie's return is delayed, Cooper is the engineered solution, the point forward carrying the ball, making plays, and shouldering expectations few rookies would dare shoulder. Meanwhile, over in Brooklyn, another game plays out behind the scenes. The Timberwolves hold the 31st pick, evaluating and fielding offers, signaling that this draft is a marketplace of assets, and every move is about tomorrow's chessboard. The Lakers, lurking in the shadows of this chaos, climbed 10 slots from 55 to 45 in a low-key trade. Perhaps an early hint of the moves to come, because when every draft night unfolds like a thriller, no position is safe, no pick coincidental. Then there's the enigmatic Utah Jazz, who bet big on Ace Bailey at 5, a landing spot few saw coming. For a player everyone pegged around 3 to 8, picked by a franchise desperately needing a spark, Bailey's journey is raw, filled with doubts, yet layered with fierce determination. He and Walter Clayton Jr., drafted late first round, represent more than just picks. They're the hopeful building blocks for a young, scrappy team under Austin Ames' watchful eye. Utah's roster might sit near the bottom, some argue the weakest in the West, but the front office refuses to tiptoe around that truth. They're full steam ahead, no tanking mentality allowed, and they've doubled down on talent to gamble. The Jazz must see as the only path forward, unconventional yet bold. And speaking of bold moves, the Hawks are quietly working magic too, trading down from 13 to 23, while securing a future first-rounder, hedging bets with careful calculations that could pay off down the road. New Orleans, often criticized, quietly struck gold, drafting Derek Queen and Jeremiah, fierce players armed with potential that could ignite immediate impact and long-term relevance in a franchise hungry for stability beyond Zion's shadow. Meanwhile, the Phoenix Suns, a team hungry for rim protection and tenacity, nabbed Kaman Malawash with the 10th pick, pairing him with Mark Williams to consolidate a front-court defense that could anchor them for years. For a franchise frozen by injuries last season, this is a potential renaissance, a line of defense and rebirth. The defending champions, Oklahoma City, went for value with Thomas Sorber, banking on recovery, patience, and potential down the line. Reminder that every pick carries the weight of timing and health. Speaking of timing, the draft also laid bare the plight of the Philadelphia 76ers, who grabbed BJ Edge with the 3rd pick but still have more questions than answers. The roster, featuring Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey, is stacked in theory but fragile in practice. Health remains the wild card. Are the Sixers a team ready to storm the Eastern Conference, or just a house of cards waiting for the inevitable gust? Daryl Morey, the front office voice, sings promises, but fans and pundits alike tune out the sweet nothings, yearning only for results starting at training camp, where Embiid's presence may decide everything. In this swirling vortex of talent, injuries, and hope, the one thing clear is uncertainty. Will the roster moves pan out? Can chemistry and health align? Meanwhile, unseen stories emerge from the late rounds. The second round, often overlooked, bursting with potential legends. Names like Jalen Brunson, who defied expectations after slipping out of Dallas, leading the Knicks deep into the playoffs, or Draymond Green, who redefined defensive versatility and changed the Warriors' dynasty forever, or the quietly legendary Mark Gasol and Manu Ginobili, who proved greatness does not always come with a high draft price tag. Then there's Nikola Jokic, the ultimate lottery winner as a 41st pick, transforming into a 3-time MVP, a crown jewel of franchise building. From the shadows of the draft, these stories remind us the draft isn't just about star power at the top, it's about hidden gems, resilience, and opportunity, the very essence of basketball's relentless hope. But what about the evolving landscape of contracts? The rise of two-way players now blurs traditional lines, turning the second round into a strategic battlefield where savvy front offices juggle roster spots, salary caps, and potential future stars. Players like Malik Maxim Rio, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and Noah Penna lurk on the horizon. Stretch big men and versatile defenders ready to flood the league with energy and skill. Each carry the torch for a new generation chasing a chance. As a lifelong Lakers fan, I can't help but feel this draft and offseason ripple with lessons for us all. We sit at the junction of past glory and uncertain rebirth, watching franchises rise and fall on decisions forged under pressure and hope. The Mavericks rise with Cooper Flagg challenges traditional timelines. The Jazz's gamble on Ace Bailey tests guts over comfort, and the Sixers' wounded star power wrestles with what it means to truly contend. The whispers in the league speak a balance between patience and urgency, between fidelity to a core and the hunger for transformation. So is this the start of a new empire, or the beginning of our unraveling? Drop your take in the comments. I'll be reading every one. Listen up, Lakers faithful, because if you think this draft drama is just another blip in the NBA's endless soap opera, you're missing the cosmic earthquake threatening to rattle the very foundations of our purple and gold legacy. This isn't about plays or stat lines alone. It's about identity, survival, and what the hell it means to be a Laker in a league that's spinning faster than ever. The Mavericks raising Cooper Flagg like he's the chosen one. That's a direct shot across the bow of every contender in the West, especially us. We've seen Titans fall before. We've watched dynasties crumble like the Lakers post-Kobe, post-LeBron's glory years, struggling to find their footing as the league evolved away from pure star power to the new age of versatility, youth, and relentless pace. LeBron James, our king, our living legend, is no stranger to fighting through adversity, now staring down a season that might just be the toughest of his entire career. We're not talking about the physical challenges, no. Those we expected. It's the emotional toll, the weight of carrying a franchise whose hunger for an 18th banner feels insatiable, yet inches away from vanishing in the desert heat of time. Anthony Davis, our browbeaten warrior, he's playing through pain again, grinding to hold together a front line that's thinner than a secret whispered in the locker room. What if AD's body finally says enough this time? What if the very spine of this team cracks the same spine that carried us to glory in the bubble, defied pandemic uncertainty, and beat every odds stacked against us? And meanwhile, Brawny Hour, torchbearer, steps into the spotlight with every man watching, judging, doubting if the bloodline can endure. The weight on his shoulders is biblical. He's not just LeBron's son. He's the merging of legacy and future. But what if the league's brutal spotlight burns too bright, too fast? Reaves, our heartbeat, our gritty underdog, stands at a crossroads, proving he's more than a role player, a fan favorite. The question is, will this shifting landscape elevate him or drown him in the tides of expectations? Behind closed doors, the tension is palpable. Jeanie Buss remains the custodian of the Lakers' sacred trust, but whispers grow louder. What if a billionaire steps in, disrupting decades of family stewardship? A new power player with money to burn and impatience to match could shake the league like a thunderstorm pounding the shore, forcing the Lakers to reinvent themselves faster than ever, or risk losing the last scraps of their once-in-question dominance, the rivalry that defined the 80s Showtime magic weaving through defenses. The Forum roaring with chants that still echo through Laker history is a distant memory, yet its spirit clings to us like a ghost, reminding us that greatness demands risk, spectacle, and a hunger that never sleeps. The 2000s three-peat, Shaq and Kobe carving their names in basketball's eternal clock, was a tower we built with sweat and certainty. Then the 2010 revenge season, the Kobe-led renaissance, the Blue Mamba's last dance in purple and gold. Those years delivered lessons in resilience and heartbreak that still burn deep. And who could forget the 2020 bubble, when we captured our latest banner against all odds, reminding the world that Lakers basketball is forever about fighting through chaos, uncertainty, and the crushing weight of expectation. But now, the post-title decline has left us circling, desperate to reclaim that fire. The West morphs into a lethal arena where teams like Denver unleash Jokic's Mamba mentality network, and Phoenix rejuvenates with Cayman Malawash's front line, seeding a defensive menace that could tip the scales against any team not ready for the grind. The Warriors? They're not done yet, not with Thompson's sharpshooting nerves and Clay's ice in his veins. But even the old guard's grip loosens as new blood threatens to rip apart their dynasty. Clippers quietly rebuild, chasing chemistry instead. A flash, while the new age juggernauts like Dallas, with their electrifying rookie star, rewrite the rules for what a champion looks like. And let me tell you, every single one of those teams is salivating at the thought of the Lakers being vulnerable, scrambled lineups, injury-riddled rosters, and a franchise begging for a chess master with vision. Now imagine if our front office finally snaps out of its lethargy, finally trades smart, trades bold. What if they channel the sneaky genius of Mitch Kupchak, drafting Andrew Bynum back in '05, or the audacity of Rob Pelinka orchestrating the LeBron White trade? What if Jeanie Buss realizes that to build a modern dynasty, she needs more than loyalty? She needs ruthless innovation, street smarts, and a willingness to shake the foundations of the very identity that's kept us in place for so long. I see flashes, whispers that the Lakers may be eyeing moves behind the curtain, eyeing trades that could bring that missing piece, that X factor, someone who can absorb pressure like all the legends before him. But what if they miss? What if the next decade belongs entirely to a new generation that never bows to the legacy of purple and gold but shatters it? What if the Lakers become the old guard, whispering stories of glory while the league moves on, invisible and irrelevant? The fans feel it. I feel it. The charge of the Crypto.com arena crowds, the pulse after every clutch moment, The collective heartbeat of a fan base that refuses to quit. That's the lifeblood of this franchise. But what if our beloved home becomes a shrine to what once was, while the Mavericks' kingdom rises just a train ride away with Cooper Flagg's name sung in hopeful chants? It's a bitter pill because this is Lakers basketball. It's not just a game. It's blood, history, pain, dreams, and a myth that transcends court lines. Every game lost, every injury, every draft pick that doesn't pan out pierces deeper than stats can portray. Now the rumors are thick around Bronny. Whispers of moving him to a lesser role or expanding his responsibilities before he's ready. What if that pressure fractures his confidence? What if he's the first to crack under the weight of legacy? Or what if Reaves spectacularly rises? Because sometimes heroes emerge not from the spotlight, but from the grind, the grit, the unheralded moments when everything is on the line. This offseason isn't just another tick on the clock. It's the turning point that will define the next era of Lakers basketball and LeBron's legacy. The final chapter, or the first act of a resurrection we desperately need. The league watches. Boston's ticking time bomb with its young core waits for a stumble. Philly's health lottery is off the charts, and by its body a question mark hovering over their future. The NBA's landscape is shifting faster than the Lakers' ability to keep up, and the question is not just if we can catch it, but if we deserve to. So as the shadows lengthen over the West, as the ghosts of Magic, Kobe, and LeBron themselves seem to nod in silent judgment from above, remember this: our franchise has always been about rebirth. Through fire, about rising from ashes when the whole world counted us out. But now, with Cooper Flagg shining in Dallas and the Jazz, Suns, and Hawks plotting their ascents now, with Bronny walking that tightrope between crush and glory, what if this Lakers team isn't ready to carry the weight they were born for? What if this is our reckoning and the rest of the league feels the tremors of that reckoning just before the fall or the rise? As a Laker till the day I die, here's what I see coming: a season fueled by desperation and dogged heart, where every possession might be a battle for our very soul. We'll either rise like the legends before us, rewriting what it means to be purple and gold in a sports world that's evolved beyond recognition, or we'll be the cautionary tale whispered in the winds of Laker lore, a dynasty undone not by our foes outside, but by questions unasked inside. Now I want to hear it from you. Drop your rawest take below. Every true believer in purple and gold, are we about to witness the birth of a new Lakers dynasty, or the final curtain call for one of the greatest franchises the NBA has ever known?